Today we're going to learn how to make fun, colorful pinwheel picks for your party desserts. To make our pinwheels, I'm using this great dimensional film product. I wanted them small enough to use on cupcakes or small desserts, so I went ahead and I cut a 2-inch square first. Once I cut the square, we need to make some diagonal cuts. Because I don't like to measure and mark, I found the easiest way was to cut a piece of double-sided sticky tape that's about a 1/2 inch wide. I used my mat to line up the points of my square and then went ahead and stuck down that piece of dimensional tape. And then I only cut in from that point to the end of that tape. Then I can simply peel that tape off, line it up again, place it, and continue cutting. So that I've got 4 cuts, 1 in each corner. Once we have that, we need to make holes so that we can bring our tails in and make our pinwheel. I just used a heavy-duty punch and went in, it's real technical. For this one I went in maybe 1/8 of an inch from the edge of 1 point in each corner. Punched a hole there, rotated it, and then on the same side, so this one's on the left, this one's on the left of the cut, on the left, and on the left. And then I made a hole in the very center. So there's our square with our cuts and our holes already in place. To assemble the pinwheel, I wanted to add a little bit of color to the center, and there's a couple of ways you can do that with different shapes. I used a die cut to cut some flowers from one, or I used just a round hole punch to cut the ones that I used on this one. And then I added a star eyelet beneath my brad. The options are endless on how you can add a little bit more color and layer them. To assemble it, you're going to need a brass fastener or a long-tailed brad, something of that sort. And this can get a little tricky, but it's doable, trust me. I first pushed it through the centerpiece. And then you're going to begin by picking up, putting it through one of the holes and bringing it towards the center. But you don't want to push it through the center hole yet, because we've also got to push the next one over to it up and pick that one up on that same one where we put that flower. And then holding on to those, pick up that third one. Sometimes it'll pop out, cause you to be frustrated, cause me to be frustrated. And then lastly, pick up that last one. And once you have all 4 of those tails, as I call them, you're going to go ahead and push it through that back hole and open your brad to hold it in place. And you've got a great dimensional iridescent accent. Now you could do this with scrapbooking paper or cardstock, but I like the dimension that the film gives. I wanted to make them to look like party pinwheels. To do that, I'm using lollipop sticks. And I just went ahead and put a little bit of hot glue on the back of my lollipop stick, and I actually stuck it to cover that brad because I plan on these being reusable, and I actually have reused them a few times because if you wash them carefully, even though these sticks are paper, they can be dried and you can reuse them. So I went ahead and glued it over that brass fastener on the back, and there are our little party pinwheels, perfect for cupcakes or puddings or other desserts. They're fun, they're colorful, and they add a bit of whimsy to your party. You could make these larger and use them in a vase or a bucket for a centerpiece. There's all sorts of fun things you could do with this simple pinwheel technique. I hope you enjoyed this quick project, and stay tuned for the next episode of Behind These Eyes.